Good morning, you beautiful people. Actually, it's probably afternoon some places, whatever. It's Saturday. And if you are watching this and you're like, hey, Jeremy, I emailed you. I know. I got work to do. So I'm building profiles today because I haven't gotten around to it. Yes. What's up?
I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to go on a walk.
Very good. I'm live streaming.
Okay.
So
I'm going to go to my grandpa's.
sounds good. All right. So, whoops. What happened to my GoPro? Okay. I had my GoPro set up so you guys could have a little top-down shot, but it's not working right now. So let's see if I can throw a different battery in and it'll work. Good morning. So from Belize, what is your actual name? Because you've been on a few of the streams, and I like to mention people by their names. So what is your name? All right, we got another one. Good Lord. We got a few. MBB, you're new on the stream. What's happening? I just realized my battery died on my GoPro, so it shut down. Let's see if that is any better. Sorry, y'all having to look at my butt right now. Okay. So good morning. Thank you for commenting. Appreciate you. You've got to tell me your name. Please let me know your names because I will call you by your names when you're on the stream if I know them. So let's see if my GoPro's working yet. Is my GoPro working? No, it's not. Hero it. It says it's connected. Doggone it, people. What the heck? That's my iPhone camera. GoPro Hero. Starting. Well, this is delightful. Brad, what's happening? Have we met before, Brad? Because your name looks familiar. My online name is Botrix. Okay, fine. Be mysterious. It's fine. Whatever. It's all good. Okay, so the GoPro's not working right now. I was going to try to give you guys government name is Greg. I'll take it, Greg. Greg and Brad in the stream. I was going to try to give you guys like an overhead view. And yes, perfect. That's what I thought. I thought I recognized the name. Yeah. So I was going to try to give you guys an overhead view, but it's not working. So we're just going to have to deal right now with the not necessarily most beautifully framed work here. But I wonder if you guys notice in the live stream, I've got a whole bunch of hygrometers over there. I am currently testing to see if I can find some accurate hygrometers because, good morning, Ryan, because I think that a lot of the hygrometers, or humidimeters, as I like to call them, are wildly inaccurate. And I don't like that a bunch of stuff is wildly inaccurate. You need accurate readings to make sure you're measuring stuff properly, right? So I have already printed a few test charts for the profiling. I will fix my camera situation here in a second so you guys don't have to just look at my butt. Give me a minute. We'll deal with it. So I've already printed a few test charts to get started this morning, including my grain and dot size. What I am testing this morning is what's happening, Ethan? How's the baby? What I'm testing this morning is finally profiling the DTF station, the Color Prime Chroma ink, which I haven't gotten around to doing yet. So we're doing it. So I've got my dot test here. I've not built anything on Digital Factory 12 yet. I want to get this test done just so I can test the if the Chroma ink is substantially better. That's what I'm wanting to test. What in the world? Something's up here. I'm going to deal with that in a second. something didn't print right. Sweet, Ethan. I'm happy for you. All right, let's see if the GoPro is finally turning on. Okay, it looks like it's on. Let's see if we can get it to connect. Can we get the GoPro to connect? iPhone camera, Hero Black. Come on, baby. I need you to connect. I need you to connect. GoPro. Oh, Lord, have mercy. All right, let's try this one more time. To my knowledge, it is not, but I have not. Oh, I don't think so. They've not mentioned that. Goodness gracious, the GoPro Hero is just not working. So, all right, GoPro Hero is not working. Not to my knowledge. Flow colors are not being included, as far as I know. It's like a full, like, they'd have to completely change the color engine for it to, for them to be able to do it. So I don't think they're going to add flow colors. All right. Pressing my first test chart. All right. Let me figure out a different camera setup I can use to give you guys a view of the room, because I want you guys to have a view of the room, not just my torso every time I walk past my camera, because that would be unpleasant. All right, and little T-seal action. I will tell you, my T-seal is it's seen better days. So Ethan, I want to know, why do you find Cadlick to be so much more user-friendly? To a degree, I don't disagree, but I also think that just when you're familiar with something, it's easier just because you're familiar with it. So, all right, here we go. Here's my first linearization chart for Neo. I am building profiles in Neo Stampa, in Digital Factory, using the i1 Profiler app. So I'm building 3 different ways for this test. And what I'm doing right now is kind of just I'm not doing any strong manipulation, like trying to tweak with the profile. I'm kind of going with just a baseline, which is what I did with the original Color Prime ink before I swapped it out. And I'm going to compare those profiles and see how they look. And then I'm going to try to push a little more on it and see if I can get a wider gamut. Okay, so let's pop over to the PC. Why is nothing working today? Goodness gracious. There we go. Hey-o. All right. Calibration wizard. Nope. What is happening? Maybe the world doesn't want me to stream today. Maybe the internet's saying, "Hey, Jeremy, don't stream, just build profiles." There we go. Okay, measure 3 times weighted. Start. Insert page 1. I'll move the camera over here so you guys can watch it when I'm doing the full profile, because these are very fast and not very fun to look at. Also, if you see me hobbling a bit, the knee is bugging me today. So, all right. All right, let's see. What do we got? If you guys got questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them as we go along. So the thing I saw on this, it's giving me a little pause, making me think maybe something's wrong or I didn't have a setting right, is that black looks very green. Like very green. And that shouldn't. It should be very gray. But if I have something turned on, it could be causing a problem there. All right, got to load the next chart in. Tell you what, it's been lovely being home this week, though the reason I'm doing this today is because it's just been a lot going on. I don't realize like how much like stuff I get done around the house when I'm not on the road. Like if I were just working like 9 to 5, I'd get so much stuff done in the evenings. And so now when I'm on the road so much, I have to cram it all in when I'm home. And so lots of stuff around the house this week. So just feel like the interface itself is much easier to navigate than Neo. Maybe biased as this is the first rip I ever taught me how to. Yep. I think it's a comfort factor. I think for people that are designers, like people that work with Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that, Neo Stampa actually is it's a little more familiar for like a Photoshop editor and stuff like that. So, all right. So that next chart got done. These charts scan really quick because there's just not a lot of information on them. They're just CMYK and that's it. Okay, hit enter. And because I have the table, what you're seeing me do here is just measure out the corners of the scan chart. All right. So let's take a look at these again. Something's definitely up. I know my nozzle check's good because I did a nozzle check just before and just after it, and it was good. Yeah. So there may be something else going on. So for those of you who have not done now it's interesting. So with Digital Factory 12, they've actually added some steps that do this function that I've done manually. So my plan though with Digital Factory 12 is to go through like the whole process and see what it looks like. But I'm just looking here to see where there's really good saturation. I'm using the different variable dot configurations. So I'm looking for good saturation without it getting muddy. So like this purple here is starting to shift into like a different color. Not a huge fan of the look of that one, but I do like the look of that. So probably going to go G on the cyan and magenta. I might push K on the black and the yellow. I like the way that black looks. That black looks really nice on the K. I like that. So G and K it is. So I'm going to go. We'll go back to Neo in a second. So in Digital Factory, I want to adjust this print mode I'm making. And we're going to use G. And I'm going to double check something because I think on the old Chroma ink I used I. I just want to see what I looks like. And I feel like it starts to hue shift a little bit as it's getting into that darker. So I'm still going to go G. And then on this one, I'm going to go with K for yellow and black. The reason I do the yellow and black similarly is because the yellow's hard to see, and I just, in my experience, black and yellow being a similar number is pretty good. So oh man, you guys popping off in there. Coleman, yeah, don't forget to turn your ICCs back on at the end. So I'll explain that in a second. Delta E greater than 9. Yeah, let's look at that. I didn't get a chance to look at that since it got done scanning. What do you mean delta E greater than 9? What are you talking about? There's no delta E greater than 9. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So please let me know what you're referring to. My delta E max. So what we're looking at here is the comparison between the 3 prints. So I print 3 different charts of this because then it does 3 different prints off of the printer. So I can check for like consistency, because with Neostampa, which is one of the reasons I really like their profiler, is I can do 3 times weighted. So I can compare all 3 of the charts. Now this looks like this chart is way off, but it's actually not, because my max delta E is 0.078. So this is actually really, really good. Like, it's not uncommon for me to have a couple of scans that are way outside of bounds, like way out. But yeah, everything under 1 is ridiculously good. And an average of 0.27, like, that is chef's kiss. If you are doing profiling and you find your values, your delta E average should be anywhere close to 1, you're hitting danger territory. Like, I would either do a reprint or something like that. So this is like actually perfect. I love it. Okay. And then here's our values here. Now, this is one of the things that I've started like playing with in Neostampa. First of all, you do smooth all your values. And if I look at the 3D representation of what it looks like, so there's all of the inks in the lab color space. So what I'm looking at here, I'm still looking at the comments. Sorry, guys. I'll pull those up in a minute. So the thing that I've been toying with now, I'm not going to change anything because I know that when I did the OG Color Prime ink, I didn't tweak with these things. So see how it's kind of shifting a little ways, like a little bit away from the color, like the hue is shifting a bit. It's not like this really bright magenta. I've been playing with restricting these inks back a little bit on the cyan and magenta, so I don't get as muddy of results on the bottom of the gamut. But like I said, I'm gonna do this like I did the OG Color Prime ink, because I want to give it a similar shot, a like for like comparison. So that's what I'm gonna do on that. And then I'll come back to it later and try reducing those down to see if I can get a cleaner, bigger gamut that's not like, because I think part of the problem is like when it hue shifts, as it gets more saturated, that'll cause problems with the way that it's calculating those the other colors in the gamut, because it's assuming a similar hue throughout, as far as I can tell from all of my testing. So let's go ahead and print the relinearization. So printing 3 times. Okay. Step 3, save. And let's go over to DTF Station Pilot, and we will print. And I'm going to hand powder these. Print. There we go. Okay. So now in Digital Factory, while that's printing, let me make sure it doesn't pop off. Sweet. Okay. So now in Digital Factory, since I've done my little dot gain, my dot variable dot thing, I'm going to click on the Color Prime Chroma ink, and I'm going to go to calibration. And for this particular build, I'm using everything built into Digital Factory. I'm just doing my own thing. So let's print chart. And so you can use, if you have the X right, so you can technically use the I1 profiler to scan a color and then scan a second color and compare it in I1 profiler. Maybe I'll get into that later, but I use the Prestige R2 Pro uses I1600 print heads. So to print. Chroma. Save. Uh-oh. Oh no! My white just failed me. Why did my white just fail me? Do I have plenty of white? I have white ink. Well, ladies and gents, I lost my white ink. So let's troubleshoot. I've not had that happen. That's the first time I've had this happen with the Prestige. Let's do a head to load ink, and let's just see if we got ink coming out. Yeah? Weird. I got white ink coming out. I'm going to double check and make sure I still have ink in there. I've got the alarms are on, so it should be beeping at me if I don't have ink in there. Weird. I have never had that happen before. Oh, it's definitely getting low. All right. So that's what I get. That's what I get for not having my alarm on. And I hope I have more than just that amount of white ink. I mean, that shouldn't have stopped it. Weird. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. While I'm agitating the white ink because it's been sitting there for a hot second. So how do I decide between D50 and D65? So it depends on the software and depends on the application. In the general print world, it's D50 is considered kind of the standard. And some softwares don't let you choose. So like Digital Factory doesn't really let you choose what the illuminant is. And so when I first started doing Neo-Stampa profiling, I was profiling with D65 because that's what they kind of told you to do. And then when I did G7, they were like D50, D50, D50. So I started doing some D50, and in some situations it works, but in Neo-Stampa, it doesn't like it. It gives me weird results. Orange is hueing a little bit red, or sorry, red's hueing a little bit orange, blue's hueing a little bit purple. Between that and trying to do relative colorimetric in Neo-Stampa just gave me hassles. So I went back to D65 and I started doing D65 in perceptual, and I tended to have less of those weird color shifts. And that's the dilemma that as a profiler I run into, is different softwares behave differently. Luckily, most shops I go to are using either Digital Factory or Neo-Stampa. But every once in a while you get a main top, every once in a while you get a flexi or something like that. And you kind of got to play with it and see what happens. And that's the unfortunate thing about what I do is sometimes it just misbehaves. You got to go back and redo it. So currently using the i2 Pro device. Yep. So manual scanning. Yeah. Manual scanning is not bad. It's just if you do it all the time, like building profiles all the time like I do, it's definitely beneficial to have the table. And I'm killing time while I'm mixing my white ink. So Asians tend to use D50, Europeans and US tend to use D2. No. So in my experience, that's not the case. It depends on the probably on the experience of the profiler, whoever's doing it. Because D50 is closer to sunlight. The color checking lighting booths, like we don't, DTF is not as precise, and we don't have the our industry has not been doing enough precision to really we're not using D50 lighting boosts. We're not using a lot of those things. So software is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, they generally are going to tell you to do D65 and perceptual. That doesn't mean you can't get really great results using some other setting. But if I'm just trying to do something quick and dirty and just good enough, I will do D65 perceptual right now until somebody tells me I need to do it differently. All right, you just noticed 720 by 1080 12 pass. So the pass mode, I'm doing 720 by 1800. And this is mostly due to the fact, and it's a 12 pass because it's only an i1600 printhead. So every printhead's a little bit different. And so the resolution, this 12 pass is kind of in the i1600 world is equivalent to a 6 pass in an i3200. So generally when I'm profiling, I'm doing 720 by 1800 6 pass on most i3200 machines. But because it's an i1600, it has half of the color channels. So instead of 2 black, 2 cyan, 2 magenta, instead of 2 channels per color, it's just 1 channel per color. So it's got to be doubled up. So that's why it's a 12 pass 720 by 1800. 1080 and 1440 are different printheads. Those are probably DX7s or F1080s or XP600. That would be more those resolutions. And so technically what you've written here wouldn't really happen because you wouldn't do a 1080 12 pass. It would just be a 1080 would probably be their 6 pass or their 4 pass. So there is a balance of resolution. If you go too high on your resolution, you're just going slow. You don't need to. And if you try to go too low to get speed, you end up having mediocre results. And I just saw my humidity is getting a little bit low. So I'm going to kick on my humidifier. Give me one moment, please, friends. I got to figure out where to plug in my humidifier because everything's taken right now. Do. Oh, that's what I can do. I can plug it in here on my desk. Oh, and I apologize for the mess of my shop. It is bad today because I've been busy. All right, let's see. Got all sorts of people. I'm probably hitting a different subset of the audience today, but Zoltek, I'm going to assume that's how we say it. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. I'm lots of new people on the stream today. Datu, is that how we say it? I'm going to go with it. All right. Let me throw this white ink in, see if that was my main problem. My angles for doing things on this printer are not ideal because I have it shoved in the corner here because, quite frankly, I just don't have room. I don't have the room. If I had like a 15 by 15 shop, that would be glorious. Just 3 more feet. 3 more feet is all I want. Can actually kind of see through the bottle a little bit. I just want to make sure the Stuff's up off the bottom. Whew. I can't even see it. This is a bad angle. This is a bad angle. And quite frankly, I don't want to just stick my butt at you guys. So let's see. Is that camera working? Is my GoPro finally working? I've been trying to get my GoPro to work so I can show you guys, give you guys a little different view. And it is not wanting to work today. All right, let's do this. You guys are just going to have to suffer and look at my rear end. And for those of you wondering, yes, I'm wearing shorts because it's lovely outside. All right. And your boy needs to get some more white ink. I'm running low. I should have enough to get done with all these projects today, but I really should order some fresh white ink. All right. Let's try this again. See if we can get a print. All right, let's see. I'm going to make sure I'm getting what I think I need. There we go. Looks like white's working again. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, let that print, and then I'll pull it off. We'll cure it, powder it, all that good stuff. How does Neo compare to Flex for doing gang sheets only? Way better. So I haven't had a chance to use the new. I haven't had a chance to use the new version of Flexi. Like, they have a brand new one, and I've asked them for a copy of it just so I can test it. But in my experience, Flexi was never great because you had to build white underbase in Photoshop, and so you had to do spot color, and that just takes so many more steps. So not a huge fan. So gang sheets are super easy in Neo Stampa. They're also super easy in Digital Factory as well. Well, there you go. Thank you for correcting me. So Choltek, maybe, but I'll call you Alex. Nice to meet you, Alex. Is there any set and done for the general settings? So I will talk about that in a second. Let me get this thing coming off, and then I'm going to powder and do all the things to it. So in Print EXP, and I'm going to do some videos on this. Let me pop over here, and you guys can see what I'm looking at. So in Print EXP, it's called Occlusion in most of you guys' software. DTF Station actually got control of, like, they actually have the ability to edit this software. So they have edited it. And so where it says print overlap settings, that is your occlusion settings. And I generally will set it to custom 80 or normal and fog type. When you set it to strong A, it immediately halves your print speed. So it slows your production way down. So I don't ever use strong A. I will always use fog type. And I tend to find that the occlusion settings are tied very closely to your room environment. So if your room is not holding steady at like 70 to 75 degrees and 40 to 60% humidity, If your room's not holding that, you are going to need a different occlusion setting. So in my opinion, occlusion settings are room or environment dependent. So if you are having to run strong A, you need to get your room environment in order. So and then in a pinch, if you have to up it just to like get through the day or something like that, you can do that, or just to finish out the day. But I think you need to address your issues first of your room environment not being good. That's one of the reasons why I've got all those hygrometers or humidimeters next to my printer there, is because I'm testing some out to see if I can find some somewhat accurate ones. A lot of people have issues with accuracy in their hygrometers, and so I am trying to find some good solutions for you guys that are maybe better. So so that's the occlusion setting. That's kind of one of the things that I do standard. What else do I do standard? So on the wedding strip or the confidence strip, you guys will see wedding bar. I see shops that run this strong all the time. So I would encourage you to not run that, because you don't need to do it strong. You can do weak. You can do it super narrow. You can do it as narrow as 1 millimeter. That's what I usually do. But you've got options there. So yeah. So those are kind of the two main settings. This is it might say auto jump white or something like that together. And yes, for auto reset are the settings that I always use. And that has to do with like, I think it will, I've been told it speeds up the print a little bit. I think it's because if it doesn't go all the way over to the edge, it won't go all the way. It'll just, if the graphic only stops in the middle, it'll just do that area. But I also think that it will automatically move the film forward to start the white. It doesn't wait for it to get to the white head. So it will speed up printing a little bit. Occlusion settings do not change the colors hardly at all. If the occlusion settings are changing your colors, then something else is going on. In all of my testing, I have not seen dramatic changes in the color. It has to do with how it's spreading out the passes. That's, whoop, you guys can't see me because it's blocking my face. The occlusion settings are how it's kind of spreading out those passes. And so technically it's not laying down any more ink. It's just changing the pattern at which it's blending those patterns together, which is why you get less banding sometimes, because it's creating a wider spread between the two layers. So a lot of times the banding happens because environmentally, because you're printing and it is you're seeing a hard line between those passes. So if it feathers those passes out more, it will reduce the appearance of that banding. So my machine does not do fluorescence or neons. However, this new ink that I'm using, the Color Prime Chroma, is actually really, really bright and vibrant. So if you want to email me the PNG, you can. I don't know if I'll get to printing a bunch of tests today, but yeah, definitely send it to me. colorgramconsulting@gmail.com. So I don't believe there's a difference in quality by using a different occlusion setting. It just addresses some of your banding issues you might be having. She's not curing. Also, these ovens, they never work as good when you just shove something in there. They're really designed to transition through it. So I'm guessing, Alex, you're mentioning the whole like fluorescent with PNGs or whatever. So technically fluorescent colors are outside of a specific gamut. Like green 255, green 255 is technically not a fluorescent color. It's just a really, really bright green. But with the systems where I have, let's see, come on, Jeremy. Oh, I didn't print the chart. No, I did. I did print the chart. What am I smoking? Systems that do have fluorescence in them, they can produce a lot brighter colors, a lot more bright greens, a lot more. I mean, Ethan, if he's still in here, he's running a fluorescent set, and they are bright and vibrant for sure. But if you want to get like a true fluorescent, you actually need to create some spot colors to get a like true fluorescent. My dryer is not very heavy. It likes to move around a little bit. All right, so what I'm printing here, so what's in the oven right now is the relinearization chart, which for Neostampa is basically it's kind of double checking its work. Again, another reason I like Neostampa a lot is because we're going to print up a relinearization and basically say, this is what the linearization is like from the calculations that it did when it started. And then it's going to verify it and make any final small tweaks. Whereas with Digital Factory and every other profiling, you only have one shot at getting your linearization. So again, another reason I really, really like working with Neostampa is because you do get kind of a second shot at it. So a second chance, if you will. All right, let's, I'm going to, because my GoPro still is not working. Let's see if I can get it. Are you going to work, Comey? No, you're not. You're being a punk. All right, let's see. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to grab over. Okay, you got more comments. Sweet. Thank you. So it shouldn't, unless your alignment's off. I've not seen occlusion settings have an effect on graininess personally, but every shop is different. Every situation is different. So I'm not going to say it's not possible, but I get it. So fluorescents aren't possible through CMYK, plain and simple. But we can see what the relative what the CMYK equivalent is. And some CMYK setups will have brighter results. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to with this Color Prime Chroma ink is I was seeing their test images and they're bright, like really bright. So I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to actually look really amazing. But yeah, true fluorescent, like meaning it reacts to black light. You have to use fluorescent inks to get those kind of colors. So, and yes, Alex, I use OBS for my cameras, and then I use StreamYard for the broadcast itself so that I can integrate your guys' comments and stuff like that in it. Boy, howdy, my GoPro is just not happy. I was really hoping to show you guys, like, get better views. You know what? I'm going to use my cell phone so you guys can watch the scan because it's kind of fun. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. So Yep. Head strikes are no joke. No joke. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to pull this out. That's my relinearization. I'm going to set it here. I'm going to grab, how's my humidity? Boy, howdy. That evap cooler that I use for my humidity, that bumps up my room humidity super, super fast. All right. And for those of you who are probably wondering, yes, I use paper for building profiles because, quite frankly, it's way cheaper than shirts and really gives me no appreciable difference in the quality of the profile I build. So I use paper. Where did I put my sheet pan? There we go. Did you see that peel off, baby? That's some good old hot peel from DTF Station. Except that I don't love the way that edge cured over there. Oh, I need to press my paper. My paper's probably humid. Yeah, my paper tends to have a lot of moisture in it, especially in this room. So that is the one thing that I have to do, and I forgot to do it on this one. I usually press my paper first to get the moisture out of it. That's the one thing. I don't normally pre-press shirt graphics. Like I don't pre-press shirts, but on the paper, I have definitely seen it not behave well when I don't pre-press it. So got to remember pre-press. All right, let's cut this off and we'll get it powdering. And DTF Station did give me an oven for curing, it's the Phoenix 1620 oven. Problem is, I do not have a lot of space. My studio is quite small, 12 by 12. So I kind of am limited on not only like floor space, but also like table space. I've got over here in the corner where my scanner is. That table's covered with my scanner. So, all right. Let's let that do its thing. Now, I'll show you guys here in a second the difference between the linearization chart and the relinearization chart. So, here we go. Here they are. So this is the first chart that was printed. This is the second chart. See how the fade up here at the top is more linear? This kind of goes nothing to something and a lot all of a sudden real quickly. And this one should just have, that should be the only one that's full 100%. So that is, that's what the linearization does. It gives us an even result. And if the linearization isn't perfect, then everything else will look like trash. All right, go back over here. Let's pull up Calibration Wizard. And we're going to measure our relinearization 3 times, weighted, start. First page is in. I'll grab a different tripod here in a minute, guys. I just don't want to slow my process down too much. I already slowed it down a lot by doing these live streams, but sweet. All right, cool. So they also emailed me the printed file from their machine. So we'll be able to compare their machine printout to what I create here. And I don't know that I'll get to printing it today. We'll see how the rest of the live stream goes. If I have to, I will I'll print it later and then just email you. All right, next chart. And there we go. All right. Doing its thing. Hey, Kevin. All right. Is that already done? I thought it was done scanning. You are welcome. Where are you located at? Where are you watching from? Because I want to say that doesn't sound like an American name. And I always love knowing where people are watching from. A lot of times on a live stream, I get folks from like South Africa and a decent amount of Europe because it's in the evening over there when I do my normal live streams. But I will let you guys see this in a minute. I just need to get moving. And I really need to get my ICC chart scan printing from Indonesia. So it's like, it's got to be super late there, isn't it? Is it probably like 3 or 4 in the morning? I don't know. So 8. All right. Anything I've missed so far? Nope, nothing I missed. All right, so here comes the scan. It's done. Ooh, there we go. So I see why somebody was concerned at first. On the last time I did this, it said 9 delta E. But yeah, we got a max delta E of 1.76. That's okay, because what it does with the weighted is it kicks out the worst result. So it's looking at all of the results. Minimum 0.4, average 0.4 or 0.04 minimum, average 0.4. So that's actually really great. I can show the comparison. Take a look at it. Yeah, so the variance was in that black, which is interesting. But again, we're not varying enough. It's barely perceptible, our variance, because you have to do like 2 delta E is maybe perceptible by like somebody with the keenest of eye. And there we go. So that just kind of verified our colors look good. And then if I look here, we have a nice even kind of step between everything. Beautiful. Now this particular black, it looks like it hews a hair to the yellow side. That's not uncommon. Almost all blacks have some kind of shift to a particular color, whether it shifts a little magenta, shifts a little green. Those shifts are not perceptible when we actually build the profile, just so you know. All right, and next. Now, this is something like the default is 33, 33, 33, 100, but I like doing 40, 40, 40, 100 black because that's what I like for my rich black. So 12:35 a.m. Yokes. It's late night for you. I guess it's not terribly late. I was up till midnight last night hanging out with friends. All right. So, okay. Here's where I differ a bit from Neo Stampa. Neo Stampa feels that you don't need to do anything more than 756 swatches, scanned 3 times. Every single color person I talk to, every single one says more swatches is better. And really getting closer to like 2,000 is what is the best. Now, for this particular test, I'm just going to do 750 because that's what I did for the previous test. Because like I said, I'm trying to do an apples to apples comparison of this Color Prime Chroma ink to the regular Color Prime ink. So I'm just trying to see an apples to apples. And then I'm going to go in and try to like push it and see if I can get a little bit more out of it. So Baldur's Gate 3 and Arc Raiders. So are you playing and then I'm on another screen somewhere? I mean, it's not a horrible thing to be doing. All right, let's go back to this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do my 738 chart, and I'm going to do it 3 times because I still want to do the whole weighted average, and that's what I did before. So there we go. Save. Now this one, I am going to extend my film out, and I'm going to try to run it through the dryer shaker because this would be really, really unpleasant to do, just a one shot on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press and scan my linearization chart on Digital Factory so I can also print out my ICC charts for Digital Factory. I will answer that question about RGB in a second. Press the paper, get rid of the moisture. Okay, let me find my mount for my phone. Where are you, phone mount? So you guys can watch this thing scan, because it is fun. It's fun to watch it scan. I have somewhere around here a mount. Is it on my other tripod? It is on my other tripod. Excuse me 1 second, guys. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right, so let's break this down. I want you guys to be able to see it. Why don't I use the RGB color chart for my t-shirt? Like, why don't I use the one that I made when I was over back at Superstore? Because everybody recognizes that as Superstore, not as me. So I gotta separate myself a little bit. The other thing is that these color charts, these scan charts, have no gaps between them. So they are just a block of ink. And if we know anything, we know that DTF feels like garbage when it's just a block of ink. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just do a block of ink. All right. Sorry, I'm going to whip you guys around a little bit as I get this thing set. There we go. Lower it down a little bit. All right. So now you guys can watch, and don't mind my mess. Like I said, guys, I've got a messy shop today, but it's because I got to get this done. So zip that. And then this table, this white pad here, has a static charge to it. So when I turn it on, it sucks the paper down onto it and it doesn't move around. Now, in Digital Factory, let's go to Digital Factory, wrong mouse. In Digital Factory, I go to start the measuring process. And it's initializing the device. There we go. And now it's asking me to measure out the corners. So here's how I measure out the corners. There's this little crosshair right here, and I put that in the first, you can still see. I put that in the first square up here. Then I measure the bottom square down here. So I'm going to block the camera so I can see it properly. And then this bottom square over here, even though it has no like ink in it. And that is going to line up the chart. So even if the chart is sitting at an angle, it can still register where the whole chart is at. And I've mentioned it before. I will mention it again. You guys don't need this. I think some of you would benefit from having profiling, like having a spectrophotometer so you can build your own profiles. I think it's like I'm all about empowering people to do that. Coleman, who was on the stream earlier, he's doing his own profiles, and so I just assist. But this table is really not necessary for a shop, because a shop is just, you're not going to build enough profiles for you to need something like this. I'm going to switch back over to the PC so you guys can see what that's doing. So you can see it's scanning each row. You see it pop up. I'll go back over because that is way more fun to watch. And yeah, so the one thing, it takes the Digital Factory takes a little longer to scan because it doesn't do scanning back and forth. It only scans in one direction. So it's a little slower process. So it's literally scanning going away from the camera right now. But I tell you what, for me, where I build profiles every day, all day, every day, this arm has been a game changer, 100%. It means I can do more work. I can do more iterations of profiles. Like sometimes I'll go into a shop and it'll just be a perfect profile, like right out the gate. Like it's just like perfection, no need to worry about it. But there are other times where I fight with it and I struggle with it, trying to figure out why it's not looking like it should. And in those cases, I love having this setup because I can do iterations a lot more quickly to tweak with it. There it goes. All right. Now let's take a look and see. Here's our settings. Awesome. All done. We're going to hit next. The measurements are complete. So this is seeing, and here's the thing. I don't, hold on one second. So I've been having really, really good luck using the G7 curves method. Before, I think I used CADLink because that's what they just told me to do. And I've been getting actually pretty good results with this, but look how different the curves are looking. So I don't know I've seen them look that different. And they also look pretty different from what I'm going to back up on this one and show you guys. Okay, so the cyan is definitely curved way more than the black, yellow, and magenta. So that's not out of bounds completely. But that black curve is doing something different. Let's look at just the, what's the yellow doing? Yellow's doing something similar to the black. I can't remember what the OG color prime looked like. But, you know, like I said before, I'm doing everything the same, right? So I did G7 before. I'm going to do G7 on this one and see how it goes. Now, this is probably a case where I may want to do some iterations to get it to be better, but perfect. So now I'm going to take that calibration one and I'm going to create ICC. And now print charts. Okay, so a couple questions came in. I'll wait for it to load. Thank you. I work on my transitions. How important is it that the PC monitor is also calibrated? So here's the deal. Ain't nobody's PC monitor calibrated that you're selling transfers to. Like, just plain and simple, there is nobody or very few people, still probably nobody, who has a calibrated monitor that's ordering from you. So having an uncalibrated monitor is not necessarily going to be the end of the world. I also know that uncalibrated monitors are unpleasant to look at. We're so used to a blue hue on everything on our monitors that when you have a properly calibrated monitor, it looks brown. The whites look very brownish, and it's just because it's what we're used to seeing. And so a calibrated monitor is great. A calibrated monitor is not necessarily necessary. All right, ICC, let's name that Chroma. Save. All right, sweet. Now I have, once it prints, now I have, let's see, let's wait till it finished. It finished, good. File. Okay, so now I'm going to load these up. And I'm going to feed this forward just a bit. All right, let's print. Print, baby, print. I'm going to let it get started. Then I'm going to start doing my feed through the system. All right, let me actually, I'll move this over so you guys see what I'm doing. Move my cell phone camera over. Let's see if you all can see what I'm doing. Now, if you have a question like, hey, Jeremy, that white underbase looks really thin. And I would say, you're right. I use a very thin white underbase. And I use a very thin white underbase because I'm building my profile on a white garment, or in this case, on white paper. And so I don't need a lot of white. We are one of the only printing technologies that prints our own white, our own substrate. Sorry for the noise there. We print our own substrate. So a lot of other print methods, it's really important that you know and are using the substrate that you're going on. But because we print our own substrate, nope, that was my white having some issues. I need to figure out what's going on there. But it did fade a little bit. But it looks like it's coming back. But again, I'm pressing on white paper, so it's not as critical as if I was pressing on like a black shirt or something like that. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. I do need to address that at some point. Yeah. It's looking all right. It should be darker. I need to figure out what's happening there. But for this, for what I'm doing, I don't need it because I am pressing on a white paper. So as long as it has enough ink to stick, I'm fine. And I would say we have enough ink for it to stick. I kind of wish it was a little bit darker, but I'm not going to stress about it. Look, everyone, the wife's watching. I think she's watching my son playing like a charity football game, I think. But I don't think most people are in this business don't even know they could be calibrated. Yeah. So here's my comment on the phone thing. Yes, some phones do have good cameras and good color, but not all. I will say the ones that you know and you can get consistent results with are iPhones. Those are the ones that are industry spec'd quite good. So you can get consistent results and consistent you can have a calibrated result. So if you have a software, there is actually a software for the iPhone called True Hue that allows you to calibrate a monitor if you wanted to. I'll find a link for it and share it with you guys. But yeah, phones are kind of a good thing, but they still can be inconsistent. So the way that I do this to try not to waste a ton of film is I put enough through for me to get down to where you guys saw it just a second ago. And then I just manually bring it up to where I can attach to this. And then I'll run it through and then come back later. Yeah, so I kind of do a little bit of a song and dance. So Alex, you using the NVIDIA control panel, but what were you using to verify, like to scan the colors to say that it was right? Now, there are some monitors that can self-calibrate, but they are super expensive. So I'd be intrigued to know what you're using to verify the color output is right, if that makes sense. So moving right along. I really do need to go on and order some more white ink. Now, I do want to show you guys this. Let's see if I can get the camera to jump over to it. So those are all of the hygrometers I'm testing, or humidimeters, as I like to call them. Whoops. So I've got basically 3 kind of cheapish ones and then 3 a little more expensive ones. That one doesn't have a readout, but my phone is scanning it. And that one's the one that scientifically should be the most accurate. So I am testing it and using that kind of as a litmus test to know which one of the cheaper ones is the most accurate. Now, I would tell you, these 3 are wildly different than these 3. These 3 are all pretty close to each other. And the cool thing about like this one, this Govee one up here, is I can use the Govee app to tie it to a plug or an outlet, and I could hook up my humidifier to that plug or outlet and basically tell Govee that when the humidity drops below a certain level, to turn on that switch. So I could have it automatically like keeping track of my my humidity. But you can see those are pretty close to each other. These ones saying 44, 45, 47. So they're not terribly far off, but I know that they don't react as quickly. So I did notice that the other day when I was first starting to test them. There we go. All right, it's doing its thing. I think I've got, one more chart, and then we'll feed it forward, and then we can start scanning. All right, we got some questions popping through. Oh, nice. They rented a data color spider. Nice. The data color spiders are nice for monitor calibration. Quite nice. There's some good websites that have these ICC profiles to get colors close. Yeah, so when it comes to like monitors and stuff, you can find ICC profiles that work really good. there's so many variables in printers, it's hard to use like even a default ICC from like an ink manufacturer doesn't always work perfectly because every machine is slightly different. So a little bit of variables there where you don't have those variables with monitors. Top 3 inks. Number 1, Color Prime Chroma or Color Prime. It should be the Chroma. It's supposed to be better. We'll find out. But Color Prime is my top one right now because their white has really good opacity. I have talked to a few folks that the DuPont opacity of the white's been a little bit wanting recently. And so they are working on that. They are making some updates to that. So, but Color Prime, DuPont, and then Inkbank. And Inkbank is my go-to for fluorescence because nobody else has a fluorescent color set or a fluorescent color set that is color fast, meaning it doesn't fade. A lot of fluorescents out there will fade. It's not great. If you guys look at that bottom square, that last one, see how shiny it is? That is one of the prints that comes out with a lot of ink. Basically, what one of the tests that Digital Factory does is to find out what that like max ink level is or what the maximum should be. So Color Prime, DuPont, Inkbank. Inkbank's good. I think DuPont and Color Prime are better, especially when it comes to CMYK colors. But Inkbank has the fluorescence, and all of the fluorescent machine setups. Let me rephrase that. Most of the fluorescent machine setups I've done have been using Inkbank. So that's my go-to. And as I've mentioned before, I won't recommend something that I don't know who the manufacturer is. So there are shops that are like, hey, can you recommend our stuff? Or can you want to test our stuff so you can recommend it? And if they're not the manufacturer, I'm just not going to do it because there's too much at stake for you guys as end users. I've even been offered to white label some stuff. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it at this point. And even if I did white label it because they force white labeling, I'll still tell you who the manufacturer is. But right now, I don't sell anything. I don't sell any ink. I sell me. I am the product. So the dot size printouts are the same. They're the exact same file, just I changed the letter on it. You have to go change the settings inside of Digital Factory because every machine is going to be different. So I can't create that file for you. You have to create it yourself, but you can download those PDFs off of my website. So colorgamutconsulting.com. Whoops. colorgamutconsulting.com. That's where you can go download those. I think it's dot and graininess test image, but you can download it from there. And yeah, you've done that. So you have to watch the video. There's a video. If you look, I think it's a live stream. No, take a picture. If you take a really good quality picture and then if you email it, make sure you email it at full size. Make sure you email the image at full size because a lot of email softwares like to compress images. And if you compress it, I'm not going to be able to see it very good. But they all will look similar. If they all look identical, you didn't do something right when you printed them out using Digital Factory. So make sure you double check that video and watch it again. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate it. But we've had discussions. I'm not the most attractive man in the world, but I am very, very useful. All right, let me... Oh, it's in. Sweet. We're just going to let it cure for just another second or two, and then we'll pull it out of the oven, and we will press, and we will have some fun watching this scanner go to town. Let me move this back over here so you guys will be able to see the scanner working. And I'm going to cut some paper out first and get it pressing. All right, where's my scissors? I need like 2 pairs of scissors in my shop. How many guys have like 8 pairs of scissors and you can never find them? Pretty sure that's a fairly common thing in our industry. You got a bajillion pairs of scissors and can't find a single one. Let's take a look, see. We're almost there. I'm going to drop this off here so I can get these Neostampa charts off and start scanning them. Perfect. Oh, yeah. That white under base is super thin. I need to find out what's going on there. So I hate cutting transfers like through the middle of them when they're not pressed, but it's what I got to do for this. All right, there's that one. Beautiful. Throw that T-seal on it. I do have some other stuff I'm going to test that's not just T-seal. So Alex, are you saying you have a wall of scissors? I have a wall of scissors, but no one puts them back. Yep. It's all well and good to have a whole bunch of something, but if nobody ever puts them back, it's kind of pointless. All right. So let me cut these out real quick. And we'll get scanning. And you guys can watch the scans while I... And this, again, is the other reason, like, I love having the table for me, is because I can start the scan and then go back to pressing and cutting and all that kind of stuff. So let's switch back over to the iPhone and let's go to Neostampa, calibration wizard. Okay. And let's measure 3 times weighted. I know you guys can't see it because I want you guys to watch the table. Hit enter. Sweet. All right. And I'm going to block the view so I can make sure I can see. These squares are smaller than the Digital Factory ones. There it is. And enter. And it starts scanning. Well, actually, first it goes back and verifies its location. And now we start scanning. You can see how much time this saves me not having to manually scan. But like I said, for shops, it's not worth the expense. I want to say a table with the scanner retails for like $8,000 or something like that. Which, again, for somebody who does it on the road all day, every day, value there. But for A normal shop where you're just doing a profile once in a while, probably not worth the expense. But to each their own. If you want to spend a bunch of money, you go for it. You do you. Interesting. Which one do you have? Do you have the i1 Pro 3 Basic, or do you have the i1 Pro 3 Plus? What do you have? Because I have not had issues. I've actually had issues when scanning on fabric, because fabric sometimes likes to tug and pull. So I've actually seen more people have issues with fabric, but I'd be intrigued. Was it just not registering the scans and stuff like that? You might have also, what kind of paper were you using? Because I'm a Pro 3 Plus. Yeah. So what kind of paper were you using? Because some papers have optical brighteners in them that will cause weird anomalies on your scans. That's why I use a very basic kind of craft paper that has no optical brightener, no, like nothing. It's just paper, no coating on it or anything like that. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If it doesn't work for you to use paper, then don't use paper. I have just found that I don't have any kind of different quality of results using paper or using fabric. So because of that, I just use fabric. There we go. Enter. Line this one up. Line this one up. Line this one up. And actually, y'all, I'm going to have to go out and check on my roll from Walmart. Yeah. Unsure what that one might be specifically. So it's possible there was a coating on it. It's also possible that it just doesn't work as nicely with your scanner. I don't know. Like I said, I like it, but it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And if you guys excuse me for a second, I'm going to let you watch this scan. I need to go check on my pulled pork. I'm currently smoking a pork butt right now, and I need to go check on it. So watch the scan. You'll hear me futz with this a little bit. You guys can still hear me, I'm sure. So pull the old chips out. Dump them. New chips go in. There we go. All right. And I'm back. Did I miss much? Oh, sorry for a bad view. My apologies. All right, let's see. I would not venture to guess the bidirectional being off would cause an issue with it not scanning on paper versus on film. So, or paper versus on fabric. But, I mean, weirder things have happened. I'll tell you what, I've seen some weird things out in the field. Some real weird things out in the field. Like stuff that just makes no sense. And that's like the joy and the pain and suffering that we all have with this industry, right? Is like sometimes it just doesn't want to behave right. Oh. Slight banding isn't usually a bidirectional because the banding is usually going in the direction of the print head, like where the print head is sliding back and forth. So usually a bidirectional is not going to cause that banding unless the banding is going perpendicular to the direction the print head moves. In that case, it might, but yeah, I don't know. See, this thing scans so friggin' fast. And I'm busy talking, and I'm busy working on my pork, my pulled pork. I've got a lot of cooking coming up in the next couple weeks or next week or so. I'm doing tacos for the family for, whoops, there we go. I'm doing tacos for the family for Christmas Eve and doing I do everything from scratch, the tortillas, the marinades, the Spanish rice. I do it all, or Mexican rice, whatever you want to call it. I do it all from scratch. Then I think we're doing a pot roast and a pork loin for Christmas Day. So, Alex, if you're getting banding, is your environment 40 to 60% humidity? And is your temperature between 21 and 24 Celsius? Because I don't think you're in the US where we use Fahrenheit. Because banding is usually, like, more often than not, an issue of environment. However, it can also be an ink flow issue. So if your dampers are not completely full, like dampers should be between 50 and 75% full. The circular part of the damper should be 50 to 75% full. If it is, then that should be okay. But banding is usually environmental, but it can also be ink flow issue. So that's kind of where I would have you start. I would have you start with environment. Make sure environment's good. If environment is good, then I would have you check the dampers to make sure they're full. And if the dampers are full, then I would have you check your ink lines. But generally, if environment's good and it's not an ink flow problem, you're going to be fine. It'll work itself out. Wowzers. This is not wanting to press. Something's going on. It's probably because I don't have enough white on it. I really got to diagnose what the heck's going on with my white. All right. I'm going to let that one cool off. I'm going to press this last one, and that just got done scanning, so now we can look at our results. So give me 1 second, and we will look at our results. Actually, let's just do it right now. Here we go. What do our results look like? Oh, you're in Texas. Sorry, I assumed with the name, the Aztec origin, I was assuming you were in Mexico or South America somewhere. But Texas, that works. Okay, so here we are. Here's our scan. 0.02 delta E is our minimum. Average is under 0.5. Great. We do have a max delta E of 2.58, which is technically perceptible, but like I said, the software kind of kicks out the worst result. So if I view the full chart and then I show comparison, now this looks out of bounds, but if I go up to, let's bump this up to 1 delta E. There was only a couple that were kind of out of bounds. So 1 delta E to 2.5, we just have a few of them. And again, because it does a weighted result, it's going to kick out some of those other ones. So I'm okay with that. That is totally acceptable. So I'm not going to generate a profile right now. I'm going to actually explain what I'm going to do. So there are multiple options available. The colorful matching pigment is currently the flavor of the moment for Neo Stampa. They added this one pretty recently, and they like it because it's trying to help compensate for some of the weird shifts that we get in color sometimes. So colorful matching is what I'm going to use. I've used default. I've used colorful before, but we're going to do color matching, RGB profile, pigment, because we are using pigment-based ink. These master profiles are for if you're trying to match multiple printers together. We can use a master profile and then tell it to use that profile on all of the machines to try to unify them. I've used it before with pretty good success, but we're just building one machine. So colorful matching pigment. Smoothing, what this does is this is for if you have a substrate or a scan result that was kind of all over the map. It will smooth out some of the results so you get a smoother gamut that behaves a little bit more naturally, doesn't go crazy. But because I do a 3 times weighted, I really don't need to do much smoothing. So I usually leave it at like normal, but I could do few, but I usually do it at normal. And then we're going to generate it. And let's see how this comes out. While that's calculating or while that's analyzing, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to press this chart, which is the first one I need for doing the digital factory profile. I'm going to see why, if I can get this to not stick. I'm just going to guess I had issues with that because of the white underbase not being very thick. Because it was definitely, my white underbase was definitely way too low. And I need to address that. I need to address that before I actually start printing any of my test stuff. All right. Here we go. Perfecto. All right, let's turn that on. Now, I've never put paper like way bigger than the scan area. Let's see what happens. Oh, you can't even see what I was doing. I just didn't cut the paper. I've not tried that before. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so I need to go back into DTF Digital Factory. So one of the things that I have to do is I have to open and close stuff because if the software is open and like calling for the scanner and you open another software that's calling for the scanner as well, it kind of breaks the system. So I need to actually do this again. Delete. Yes. Okay. ICC. Yes. And let's go scan charts. All right, let's move camera over. Measure our corners. This one is so hard to see because it's white and the squares are just a little bit big. And so if you're not careful, you scan, you line it up wrong. There we go. Okay, that's going to go. I'm going to put the T seal on this other set of charts. Press them. Okay, it's going to go. Let's go back to Calibration Wizard. It is done. Oh, baby. Whoo! Whoo! That looks nice. Now, you guys don't know what I'm looking at. I recognize. This doesn't make sense to you. My word, that looks good. So what you're seeing here is like a top-down look at the gamut. But I can click on the 3D view and let's turn on the body. Holy shnikes. Okay, I never get this big of a green. Now, there's something a little funky. I'm going to turn on the wireframe and show you guys something. There's something a little funky going on in there that I need to address. Oh, it's not bad. I thought there was something funky going on this green side. Holy shnikes. Okay, so let's review. Let's look at this. I'm going to bring in another profile I have built. So let's go C drive. Users, public, documents, Neostampa 10, color. Let's go into our Prestige R2 Pro. And let's go OG Color Prime. Let's just see. Let's see the difference between Color Prime and Color Prime Chroma. Let's see what this looks like. Find the right one because there's a couple options here. Here we go. Let's see. Body. Holy shnikes. The whole thing is substantially bigger. Sorry, I heard a weird noise. Ooh, that scan might not work good. the paper's wrinkling at the bottom. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I might have broke it. Oh, no. It's okay. What did page one look like? I can't look at it. That's the thing that annoys me a little bit, honestly, about Digital Factory is I can't like look and see if it's done a good scan. I guess I'm spoiled with Neostampa because it will like let me preview the scans and let me see what I've done and see that my work is okay because I like to check my work. All right, this one, let's cut it down. All right, here we go. Press enter. Scan in our corners. Okay. And while that's scanning, let's go back to this. Okay. PC only. PC with my face. All right. So what you guys are seeing here is if it's grayed out like this, that means the other profile, so in this case, the OG Color Prime, is technically bigger in that area or sticking out a bit. And so if you look, we've got maybe a little bit more brightness in some of those yellowy oranges. And looks like we had a little bit more brightness on that backside there. But look how much more deep saturated we're getting. And that green is no contest. Holy cow. So I can get it to be brighter. And I can also get this to probably behave a little bit better by making some adjustments to the ink limits. And I could definitely pick that. So I would probably, I mentioned it earlier, I'd probably limit my inks a little bit. And I'd probably get some better results here. Let's see. We're not too far off. Like in these areas here, like if you look, like look right there. We are not far off at all. Like it's like ever so slightly bigger. But let me change this to wireframe only. And we're going to change this to body only. And look how much bigger. Look how much more green we're getting. Holy shnikes. It's not even a competition. Good Lord. And this is off the Color Prime. Like, look at that. Like, that part of the green gamut. Like, holy crap. Okay. So this is back to our guys, this is like, I'm kind of, and also look at the freaking violet we're getting. So this is how I analyze this is how I analyze a gamut and see if it's like what I should expect or whatever. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to a different. Let's go to probably one I did pretty recently. I'm going to try to find one that I remember what the colors were. Oh, you know what I can do? I can also compare it to one that was in Digital Factory. So let's do that. I had actually a pretty good one the other day. Windows, DF11, RIP, System, C-Link. Okay, I just did an oddly. Oh, wait, no, I did it on there. Nope, that wasn't it. Pardon me as I try to remember. No, that's on. Did I not save their freaking settings? Let's try. I'm trying to find something to compare it to that I think is going to be a good comparison. You know what? Let's just do this. Nope. There's nothing in there. Here we go. Why? What on earth? Why are there no profiles in here? Why are there literally no profiles in here? RIP. Okay, C drive. Maybe they moved to 12 when I installed that? That would be stupid. No, there's just the one device. Where in the world did all my profiles go? Okay, so let me pivot back. I have to figure out what happened to all my freaking profiles in Digital Factory. Actually, while we're doing that, let's scan this last chart. But I'm trying to show you guys some comparisons to see. I can already tell it's dramatically better than the original Color Prime ink, which was still really good. I felt like the original Color Prime ink actually had some of the better green performance on the market, meaning like the greens it could produce were better than most. I want to get this scan going. And I'm not going for perfection here. I'm more just trying to get a baseline. Okay, that's scanning. Great, perfect. All right, let's go back here. We're going to go back to Neostampa scans. Color. Okay, let's do, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. So this is DuPont, comparing DuPont. So they've got more going on here. I do wonder if I could shift and get a little bit more performance there. But let's go wireframe. Holy cow, guys. Look at this. So that is DuPont's. That is Color Prime. Look at how much orange performance we're getting. Holy shnikes. Okay, let me pull a different one in. Let's go really weird, guys. Let's go for one of these hi-fi colors. So this gamut that I'm about to add in here is fluorescent and extended. this gamut I'm going to throw in here has orange, green, fluorescent yellow, fluorescent magenta. So I fully expect it to perform substantially better. And look, it is. I expected to. See all this big stuff up here? That is 100% the fluorescent colors. But my gosh, look at the green. Look how much deep saturated green we're getting. We're not hitting any of those. I really need Tony and the crew at DTF Station to make me fluorescent inks. Holy crap. Like I expected, 100% guys, I expected this to be way better. But that's because that's what adding the fluorescence. But my word, look at the green performance. And if I were to add fluorescence to this setup, it would just allow it to grow up here. My goodness. And that violet, look at those violets it's producing. Ooh, let's check. I did a system where I used violets. Let's not talk about ORGB, guys. I don't like ORGB, but I will compare in a second. Let's go back here and let me try to remember. Yes, everyone. The new ink, it's the Chroma. It's the new. Now, DTF Station is not making their regular color prime ink anymore. They've shifted everything over to this Chroma ink, and I just haven't had a chance to test it and see what it looks like. But let's go. Oddly, yes. Okay, so this particular one I'm going to pull up is orange, green, and violet. Shocker, the violet behaves better because it was a violet color. But honestly, guys, how close we got to it, that's really impressive. And they had a little bit more brightness in the yellow. Their green here was got some such better performance. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Now, I think I can actually get better out of this, even better than I've got, but I'm kind of blown away. Like I said, what we're comparing right here is extended color. Like it is using green, it is using orange, it is using violet. And the fact that the CMYK set is behaving as close to an extended color gamut is kind of shocking. Like legit shocking. Yeah, guys, I've never had. It also wasn't a perfect profile. That's an ugly profile. That's an ugly gamut. But look at this. Okay, the fact that with orange, like look in this little quadrant right here. I want you guys to look at this little section right here, right there. It is hitting the same orange colors without orange. And it's hitting the same red colors without orange. DTF Station, please make some fluorescent colors. Please, Color Prime, make fluorescent colors. If you would make fluorescent colors, we would blow. It would be insane. Holy cow. Okay, so let's back off for a second. So one of the things that I try to analyze is I want to see what's kind of going on. I want to make sure there's no weird blips in it. And like I said, there was a little something maybe going on here on the green side of things. See how it's not like perfect right there? But this is like shocking. I wonder if I have like something with like just ink bank. Or something that I know isn't something that I know isn't DuPont or anything like that. I really, really honestly, guys, wish I knew where my I wish I knew where my print modes for Digital Factory went. Why is nothing? Oh, I know why. It's because they're ICM files. They're not going to pull in. Let's go someplace else. Let's go someplace else to compare. I have a better option for comparison. So ultimately, guys, wowzers. Like profile samples. There's my profile samples. That's basically all the colors I just scanned. Okay, so let's do this. Let's finish creating this. I already knew from that first like top-down view. So good. So good. Okay, finish. Finish. Wow. I think I can, like, with some tweaking, go crazy. I can go crazy with this. But the fact that the orange was as good as extended color gamut oranges, that is surprising. Surprising, guys. I really, really like it when the stuff that I recommend actually works really good. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's exit out of this. I'm going to open up Copra, which I don't have the paid version of Copra. I'm just doing the free version. Actually, meanwhile, it finished. Let's hit next. Holy crap! Okay, so what you're looking at here, guys, is the gamut size. And Digital Factory considers, now gamut sizes are rated differently on different softwares. They kind of depends on how they delineate the size. In Digital Factory, if you have a gamut of 300,000 or more, it's considered good. If it's 350,000, it's considered very good. We are at 427,000. That is huge. That is huge, guys. Like, this is some special stuff. Yes, it is $75 a liter. I get that. It is not cheap. It is not cheap. But my word, I am kind of impressed a lot with this right now. Okay. Let me finish building out this profile, and then let's go into Copra and play around with it a little bit. Okay, here's another change that I might be trying to make. I'm going to do this right now, just because it's what I did with the other one. But I've had some experience where the grays, like dark grays, went black. And when I changed it to perceptual and then relative colorimetric, it seemed to fix it. So I'll follow that up. I'm going to probably do a video and follow up with that later. But next, finish. Perfect. Okay. Copra. Profile Manager. Let's bring some stuff in here. So let's start with what we just built. Public documents, color. Oh, nope, not color. Logic. Neo Stampa, color, and name. Prestige R2 Pro. The beautiful, beautiful things we just built. Okay. And let's go back here and let's do a hi-fi. We'll do this one. You guys are getting a little bit of an indication of some of the companies that I've worked for. I don't normally talk about it a lot just because. Okay, so let's go to Digital Factory. And you guys have asked about RGBO. Let's grab an RGBO one. So that's going to be the XL3 RGBO. Now this is a profile for Color Prime, their original version of their ink, not the Chroma. And they don't have Chroma for their extended colors yet. And then let's pull in, you know what, this was a pretty good. Okay, so let's take a look in here. Whoops. So let's look at, so this was an 8-head printer, I think, if I remember correctly. Let's make this our comparison one. Okay. And then let's take a look. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's take a look at what the OG Color Prime looked like. So this was OG Color Prime. Let's look at the new Chroma. All right. So compared to this other one, we had a little bit better red. No, we didn't. It was barely, but a little bit better. But as I've said before, I think I could get there. That is extended color. Like I've said before, I would expect it to be much, much larger. But that's because we're using fluorescent colors in that. So sure. Let's go to this one. So that looks like they're using the same ink as that other shop, the one that I made the comparison. Let's go Chroma as the comparison. Let's make that comparison. Whoops. Comparison 1. Okay, that's Chroma. And let's go RGBO. Yeah, not surprising that you had more performance in the blue, more performance in the red, more performance in the green. But again, this was Color Primes, which Color Primes was already really good. But if you compare, the reason why I'm such a big proponent of the fluorescence and not using the RGBO, I want you guys to keep an eye on these areas here. When I show you this one, look how much brighter it is. Dramatically brighter. This is why I'm a huge proponent of that, the fluorescence instead of red and blue, because red and blue don't do a lot. They do some. They definitely add some on the backside here, but they are not a huge player in it. So yeah, so the gray is Color Prime, guys. The Chroma. Look how much more green performance we have. And I think this ink was an ink bank or something similar to it. But look how much more green we get from Color Prime. And look how much more like reds, violets, like purple. Look at how much bigger that is. It is a substantially larger gamut. And here we're fairly similar. We're fairly close. And again, some of those things I think I could tweak. And I likely would tweak out of it. But yeah. So that, I'm not sure what that one was. That had some pretty good magenta performance. But again, look at that green. That green. So that green performance is insane. Like, I just can't even, yeah. The green performance is just off the charts. So Yeah, I would. What time is it? 11:48. Trying to decide if I have time to print out a few test prints. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Like what you're seeing is just me like raw, like just this is how I kind of analyze stuff when I look at it. How I'm trying to decide if I have a good profile or not. And I have a good profile. Like this is a legit good profile, but I think I can get it to be a little bit better. So I am going to play and tweak with it a little bit, mostly for the video, because I'm really one of the videos I'm releasing is just basing my feedback on what I think about the new color prime. And so I needed to build out a few profiles with it, but yeah, let's see if that person earlier, Aveline, I hope I'm saying that right. Aveline, let's see if I can get, they sent a graphic for me to try. Let's see. Oh no, it's a TIFF. Oh, these are offensive files. Ouch. Are you trying to make me look bad? All right, I'm going to download this. This is ridiculous, guys. I think this is utterly insane what you're going to have me try to do. Okay, so that's downloading. Let's see what it looks like off of their printer. I mean, honestly, not bad. Not terrible. Like, you got some pretty good performance in there. Like, it's nice. Except that looks all messed up and blown out and nasty. Hold on. Let's let me pop back here and see if I can. Oh yeah, there we go. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so if I look at what your printer printed versus what the actual image looks like, and this is probably not a perfect preview, but first of all, I don't like those vegetables as a test image. They already look washed out. But if I'm looking at them, we just got no fidelity, no detail in those yellows. They're all blown out and oversaturated. If you look right here at where like those potatoes and that squash is, yeah, it's super blown out. And this is common on a lot of profiles is that a lot of times results are oversaturated. Like they're just not great because they're oversaturating because they're trying to push the limits of what they can do. They're trying to push. Yeah, I'm just kind of going back and forth trying to see if I see anything wildly bad. I mean, it looks good. I think you're getting good, bright results. I feel like the red in here is maybe not a deep enough hue. Like it feels a little more like a deep red, whereas this one's looking like a bright red. But let's load it into Neostampa. Chroma. Is that the one I just made? I hope that's the one I just made. Oh, you know what I need to do first? I need to troubleshoot my white. Let's find out what's going on with my white. Let's go back over to this camera. Actually, while you're on that camera, I'll bring this over here. And I will bring us in a little closer. Let you guys kind of see what's going on. Maybe I can't get it close enough. All right, whatever. All right, so let's switch cameras. There you go. So what I'm looking at here is, and it's kind of hard to tell because the white's always a little bit on the faint side. Oh, I've only got one channel of white working right now. That's hilarious. Okay, got it. White's there. White is in the dampers. Let's do a little prime and see if we can get those white channels back. So let's go ink charge. Gonna watch my capping or my waste ink. Okay. We got white coming. That's good. And let's do a head cleaning. Head clean all normal. Oh, sorry, you guys aren't watching. I got to show you that. You guys are funny. So somebody said, let's see. Oh, my goodness. I missed a bunch of stuff. I like it. I like it. Fort Worth, sweet. Yeah, guys, email me. Email me a combo. We'll do a combo deal. We'll do a bulk discount if you guys go in on it together. So get to share the travel costs. Sweet. All right. So let me see the other things. Thank you, Stolen Beats. I appreciate it. Just lurking. Nice. Slovakia. Okay. Here's the deal. You're not the only one from Slovakia that watches the channel, because somebody else from Slovakia was watching the other day. So if you can find enough shops to make it worth the travel time, so if like Texas, they get 2 shops, I'll discount it. They're not that far away. Slovakia is quite a bit of a trip. So I said the same thing to the crew that's down in South Africa that watches. If you get enough shops together that want to go in on it together, we can work something out. I will happily fly to Slovakia and profile some printers. But we've got to make it worth it for me to do that much travel and not have it be like stupid expensive for you, because I would hate for you, one shop, to get me in one day and spend so much on the travel expenses. But yeah, if we can get some combo group rates, yeah, we'll do group rates. I do group rates. It's fine. Okay, let's go back here and see if it's better. Move forward. And nozzle check. I also did let my white run dry, so that might be part of my problem. Did my white come back? Oh, yeah, it's back. It's back. Sweet. All right, so now let's have some fun. Let's go to Neo Stampa, and I'm going to load in that test TIFF. Now, I will tell you, TIFFs do not play nicely with Neo Stampa. Okay? And here's why. The white underbase, or it doesn't recognize transparencies in TIFF files. So it's not going to recognize the white. It's just going to be a white background. So, and also my printer is a small printer. It's just a little guy. Let me make sure. Yes, this is the one I just created. Let's size this down to 12. Though I think I can actually do like 12 and a half. Actually, let me do that real quick. Yeah. I can do 12.5. I think I can actually do almost 13 on this, because I think the film I got is like 13.7 something. So I could probably do like 13. But let's try that. Let's do 12.5. Perfect. And now I'm going to load in my test images that I have printed of the other ones, just to have a comparison. But where did they go? I know they're on this USB drive, so CGC test image. And whoops, Colorcasters open. Make this 12 inches like all the rest of them have been.
And I'm going to crop this one. Crop. And then let's auto nest. Beautiful. And before I do anything else, I do want to bump my white underbase up. Let's do something more like 50 just for now. I know my white underbase should be like 70 or something like that. And then I'm going to save that as the print mode. So all of them update with that. Obviously still not enough for like putting on a black shirt, but I'm not worried about that right now. And I think my choke is currently set at 0, but I'm fine with the choke being at 0 right now. Okay. And then let's print it. Test. Print. C'est magnifique. All right. Well, that's ripping. In Neostampa, do you need to add Grackle as an input CMYK or Adobe 98, or do you leave it input unchecked? So I don't really need to input Grackle because I'm not doing any CMYK files like at all. And I'm telling everybody they should be doing Adobe RGB 98 or RGB files only. But I leave this unchecked because I don't want it to use the embedded profile in the document, because a lot of documents are embedded with sRGB, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to use Adobe RGB 98. So this is how I have it set up. All right, and it's done ripping. Let's go print it. Feeding out a little bit to give myself a little bit more wiggle room. Feeding out. Wrong mouse. Print file. There it is. Let's go. Switch to the iPhone so you guys can watch it. Sorry, my iPhone's got a little bit of latency because it is wirelessly connected. Oh, no. Yeah. So this is a common question. No, I actually have. Holy shnikes. Wowzers. That looks ridiculous. Holy shnikes. Okay, so no, you don't want to use CMYK because your computer is doing some kind of attempt to render it out, but not knowing what CMYK profile you're actually using. So, and I actually was in a shop just a couple weeks ago that had in-house like designers that actually had like design degrees. So they understood color, and we did a side-by-side test of a CMYK image. So they had spot colors that were lab values, and lab value is device independent. And so, sorry, I got distracted. So lab values that were device independent for their Pantone colors. It was a CMYK document. We printed it, and it just was kind of lackluster. It was a little bit muted. The colors weren't super vibrant. And so I literally just converted the file from CMYK to RGB, but because it was lab colors for the Pantones, it converted super easily. So we converted over to RGB, printed it, and it looked amazing. And I've always said that you should edit in RGB. That's been my kind of my standard go-to answer is edit in RGB. But this was kind of like a true proof that Adobe is a way better, RGB is a way better file to use, or ICC profile to use. Holy crap. This looks really good. Like really good. All right, we'll see what it looks like when it comes all the way out, but it's looking good. Those neon-y colors were kind of shocking. We'll see what they look like when they're actually like printed out. And I am actually going to cut some paper because I do want to press. Actually, first, I want to get powder going in here. Perfect. Pour some powder in there. Like I said, big block of ink. It's going to feel nasty as all get out, but correct, Carl. Save his RGB and let the rip do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I'm kind of impressed with it so far. So let's kick on my shaker. There we go. And guys, it is a little slow, right? Like it's an i1600. I think it's still pretty fast for what it is. But obviously, if you had a bigger printer, you're going to get a lot faster speed result. Beauty about the Color Prime Chroma ink is that you can use it on any machine, any system. I'm going to get in there and look. Woo-wee. Guys, I'm kind of blown away by this thing. We'll see what it looks like. That green looks so good. That green looks really, really good, guys. Like, woo. My goodness. My goodness me. Kind of glad I live streamed today. I was thinking about not doing it just because I work a lot slower. Obviously, this live stream we've been going for like almost 2.5 hours, and I usually would have had a profile built. I can build a profile in about an hour. So Alex, yeah, I sometimes think that, or I oftentimes, I'm a firm believer of redundancy is helpful, super helpful. So, but even so, this I wouldn't want to sell produce gang sheets all the time with this because it's just not fast enough for doing big gang sheets. And I think if you're not producing 22-inch wide at least, you're fighting the market. So I think this is a great machine when you don't do big scale production, or if you're just trying to print for yourself. I think this is a phenomenal machine. I don't do a lot of shirts, honestly. Like I do shirts for my church because they found out this is what I do, and they're like, "Oh, we want to make some T-shirts. Can you print us some transfers?" I really only print for my church and the youth theater my daughter was a part of, and that's about it. And then myself. So, all right. So that's the last test print coming off right now. The issue with discoloration is film related. Not always. Not always film related. Sometimes it's film related, sometimes it's not. If you get like wavy results, sometimes that's ink starvation. Sometimes it is film related. But I actually ran into something this week or last week where I need to do a little more research into it, but I couldn't quite get the color to pop like I wanted it to. Like I couldn't push the ink harder and get like a brighter result. not responding like I was kind of anticipating or wanting it to. And so it might have been film related. And that's something that I think we don't recognize is potentially as much of a, or it has the risk of being an issue, is if your film is not great, it could limit what you're capable of. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to lower my camera. Let me turn on my auto feed. Trying to lower my camera so you guys can see the prints as they come off, like rolling around, because I think it's going to be pretty spectacular, actually. Now, these prints that Aveline sent me, probably butchering their name, but these prints are very, very saturated, very, very bright. Switch over the iPhone. Oh, yes. That's a good view. Those prints they sent are very, very... Oh, your issue, Carl. Yes, it could be film related. Carl's been struggling with some wavy kind of pattern with his prints on solid colors. And I thought it was maybe ink starvation, but maybe it's not. Anyway. Oh, so these prints that I'm running off right now, these are going to like really show the power of the ink. But in my opinion, they're not good examples. What I want to see from people, I want to see a gradient. Like, show me a gradient in each color. That will tell me, holy crap. That is ridiculous. Okay, so this is being blown out a little bit by my light back here, which is also blue. But my word, those look stunning. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. I got distracted by the pretty, pretty colors. Oh, profiles. I want to see a good profile by looking at gradients. Because anybody can make big, blown out, crazy color look good. But I want to see a gradient. I want to see, what does a black to white gradient look like? What does a blue to blue gradient look like? What does a blue to red gradient look like? My word, these are stunning. The red on her lips are just like freaking popping off the page. And this is even looking through the film. I am going to press it here in a bit. Okay, I'm really stoked to see this red. It's coming. Oh, my goodness. Like the sheen on her lip right there. The satin. Oh, that looks good. Holy shnikes. And again, I don't like this vegetable picture, but it's looking good. It's looking real good. Real nice. Oh, man, I feel like I can wipe that freaking water off of that. Yeah, nice detail. Nice, not blown out at all. Okay, here comes the important stuff, guys. Here comes the important stuff. Like, that was fun. That was cool. But here comes the important stuff. Show me some gradients. Okay, that orange has never looked quite that orange. That orange is a different color than I usually get. Okay, I'm going to stop that movement because I'm wasting a bunch of film. Okay, let me move things around. Let me move my phone over here. So, because we're going to press these. And I'm actually going to turn on all of my bright lights so that we can get a little bit better color. Because right now, what you guys are mostly seeing is my what you guys are seeing are all of my special lights. So let me turn those off real quick. Off. Okay, let me turn on my clean lights. There we go. There's that one. Oh, there it is. There we go. Ah, it's also bright and shiny in here. All right, let's go to the iPhone camera. Let's take a look. Okay. Make sure you guys can see. Okay, you can see in there pretty good. So let's grab a piece of paper here. Sorry, y'all. I'm there we go. Trying to get the last little bit of it out. Guys, this is nice. This is looking real good. I'm kind of impressed. All right. Let's press. And I'm going to show some comparisons for you guys because I do have these images I'm about to press. I do have them printed with the other color prime ink. So did I make it big enough? Did I make it big enough? Oh, just. That was a good estimation, Jeremy. Yeah, I should probably be using a little bit more white, but it's behaving a little bit funky today. But I think it might just be because I just got those hygrometers to check my humidity. So my humidity's been probably all over the map when I've been printing, but I was always making sure it was humid in here whenever I've printed. So okay. Jeremy, calm yourself down. I'll explain what I'm seeing in a minute. Let me get these other images pressed. This is exciting. Color is back on the menus, boys. I mean, color's always been on the menu. That's kind of my thing. But this is like there's something special going on here. Something very, very special. All right. We're going to ignore the mess that I'm making all over my floor. Where'd I put the T-seal? There it is. I'll clean it up later. That is the one thing that drives my wife nuts when I cook and bake. I don't tend to pick up as I go. It's a personal problem. Whatever. Holy shnikes. Okay. Woohoo! Those look nice. All right. Now, before I grab those compare, I want to do this. Sorry. If you have motion sickness, my apologies. Guys, look at this thing. This is insane. Like, that one looks legit like it's freaking glowing. And the skin tone looks great. That red. Whew. Oh my. Okay. I'm going to have you guys stare at this for a second. I'm going to press this other one here real quick. And then we will analyze and compare to what I've already printed. Now, this print is a little bit bigger than my heat press, but that's okay. I will just do a double press on it. But it also means I have to double press double pre-press the paper. So let you guys analyze and look at that. Yeah, it's something special. It is something special. Oops, my paper fell. And 12:19. Okay, yeah, I got to wrap up here pretty quick. I'm helping my son and future daughter-in-law to go look at some apartments today. So, but press this, analyze some stuff, and then call it a stream. So let me get holy cow, guys! I cannot get over this. Is shocking, shocking. Okay, so OG. Okay. Whoa, sees. Ouch! Almost lost the paper. All right. Give me a second. We're almost done. We've almost got it. Okay, this one I am not second pressing because I don't have a good solution for second pressing it right now. So I'm just going to leave it single pressed. Holy Nikes. Wowzers. Okay, let's do it like this. So here. Now, this I don't expect to look crazy different, guys, because these are just some standard colors, right? So what you're looking at on the left here, that is the OG Color Prime. So what Color Prime used to be. Trying to move this around a little bit. Maybe give you guys a little bit better view. Hold on one second. Turn. Okay. And get closer. Okay. So I don't notice much difference here, honestly. And that's actually a good thing, right? Like, those are just standard colors. Standard colors that are in gamut shouldn't look any different from one to the other. Let's move this off the side and let's look at these. So this is OG Neo Stampa. This is Color Prime. Now, look at the orange. If you guys can see, the orange is much deeper, more saturated, looks killer. She is looking, well, actually, I would venture to say that this looks like it has a little more detail than this. So I'm going to guess that I maybe need to make some adjustments. But this looks more detailed, but we got really good vibrant colors there. The gold looks really good. The colors all look really vibrant. The skin tones all look great. So, like, big improvement. Also, let's see what that green. That green, OG green versus the new green. Pretty big difference there. Yep, those. Oh, here, let's see. Look at this pink image here. So, move it a little bit. We have a little bit more saturation in the teal in the door there. They look very similar, but also our blues are a little bit more saturated. So looks really good, like really good. And like I said before, I care about gradients. So show me your gradients. Show me a good profile by showing me your gradients. And we got some good looking gradients there. Nice and smooth and even. And now the thing that's going to just blow your mother freaking minds. I don't even know what to do with that. Like, it looks better in person than it does. It looks better in person than it does on camera. Like, legit. Like, this green is looking a little desaturated on the camera. What I'm looking at the screen at what you guys are looking at. It looks a little desaturated. This yellow and this yellow here look like they're glowing off the page. It is freaking ridiculous. Sorry for the delay there again. Wireless camera. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, gonna move over here so I can talk and wrap up this stream. So that is, I mean, obviously, like I'll say it a million times, cameras don't do this stuff justice. But I can tell you, like, I think the one that's impressing me the most actually is this one in person. The greens are just so nice. And these are just popping off the page. It's freaking ridiculous. So, guys, Color Prime Chroma is legit. Legit. Like, and you guys saw all the data, all the scans. And obviously, I'll release a video where I actually go over more of the data, kind of like what I did with you guys here, but in a little more concise package, for lack of a better term. Yeah, actually, I'm looking a little desaturated right now. That's what happens when most of the time I film with like a bunch of bright lights and colored lights, is I tend to desaturate things. But yeah, so thank you for hanging out with me today, guys, as we were on here for almost 3 hours, just doing some profiling. For those of you who were chit-chatting about bringing me out, reach out, drop me an email. For those of you who have emailed me during the live stream, I'm not going to get to them till maybe not till Monday. I'll see if it's a quick answer. I'll give it to you. But otherwise, like I said, I've got 4 hours of apartment looking with my son and my soon-to-be daughter-in-law. So yeah. Wow. I am very impressed. It did everything that they said it was going to do. Now I just need them to make a fluorescent. I need them to make fluorescent yellow and fluorescent magenta. If they did that, it would be unequivocally the best setup. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, the best setup. So I'm going to have to bug them about making a fluorescent yellow and magenta. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out on this kind of low-key, laid-back live stream. So brisket, yes. Pulled pork, I make a pretty freaking good. I'm actually making a pretty freaking good pulled pork right now. So yes, I'm all for some Texas brisket. That's fine. So anyway, appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and see you on Monday for the normal live stream. And if you're not on the normal live stream for Monday, then have a Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful Christmas with family or friends or whoever you spend it with. I appreciate you guys all. Carl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. But I'm sorry anyway. All right. Appreciate you guys. See you later. Bye.